Welcome everybody to Hooked on Onyx, a show about all things Onyx, where you get to learn the names and faces behind your coffee. Today is a very special guest. We have one of the brew boys,
Hi.
Lance Hedrick, barista. Good morning, Lance.
Good morning, Elika, Kila Kila Lifty.
Hey, thank you for all of that. Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Are you doing all right? How's that coffee?
This coffee is okay.
Nice.
This is about a 30-second total Aeropress.
The way I like them.
But you know what?
What?
It's caffeinated.
Yes?
I've got some acidity in here.
Okay.
I've got a pretty nice sippable cup of coffee.
Okay.
So yeah, we've got Lance Hedrick. He is our director of wholesale at Onyx Coffee Lab.
That's true.
If you have been to any number of cafes across the US or the world that happen to serve Onyx coffee, odds are Lance has had a hand in that. Lance, can you tell us a little bit about what you do on a day-to-day basis?
Absolutely, Elika. I'd be happy to. So, on a day-to-day basis, I'm mostly fielding emails. That is a professional slurp right there. Don't be intimidated by that slurp. You don't have to replicate it at home, but if you can, you know what you're doing. So what I do on a daily basis, I kind of reply to emails, phone calls, text messages, Instagram DMs, all these different things from cafe owners and baristas who are needing help with maybe their orders. Maybe I'm on a long phone call or a conference meeting with FedEx because a lot of times our packages get lost or they get stalled at a certain hub or yada, yada, yada. You know the drill. But yeah, so I'm typically just talking to 1,000 people a day, which is fun. Sometimes. No, I really enjoy the relationships with the coffee shops. Dealing with the package getting there can sometimes be cumbersome, but that comes with the territory. So yeah, a lot of what I do, as I said, is I try to be as available as possible for these cafe owners, baristas, and whatnot who are working erratic hours so that they can feel confident that their coffee will be there on time and they will have help dialing in if needed.
So it seems much more communication based than like a traditional sales pitch, things like that. Most of your time is spent like almost interpersonal versus like, hey, here's a product that I have that you might want. It's very cool. So most of your time is spent in sounds like 100 different communication platforms.
Yes, this is accurate.
Yep. So how long have you been with Onyx now?
I've been with Onyx since March of 2018, so about 3.5 years.
Okay.
Almost.
Yeah, and you came on directly for wholesale, correct?
Yes.
Right, so you've been in that, had that hat on the whole time. It has changed a little bit over time, right?
It has, yeah. About 1.5 years ago, I got pushed up to the head of wholesale. So I was originally just West Coast, and now I do international, West, Northeast, and also kind of manage the wholesale department, which sounds like it's a lot bigger than it is. It is myself and one other person. So, you know, they trust me with a whole lot, you know.
What are some of the most exciting places you could find Onyx coffee that you've dealt with?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have an awesome shop that's actually 4 locations out in Hong Kong called Black Sugar. That's really cool. We have, you know, incredible locations out in LA, like at Alchemist Coffee Project, Commodity, Interstellar, Flat White. You know, we have people out in, we have people in Florida like Glass Knife. We have people in, I mean, people all over. Let's see, I could keep naming them. We have Fairlane in Portland. We have, I won't keep going. But we have Pause in Sacramento.
Could you name every wholesale client?
Boo!
Could you please do that for me?
Yeah, absolutely.
I do have a list right here, so I will be keeping track. If you
That's fine. I have to do it geographically, so I'm going to start on the West Coast. I'm going to work east, and then I'm going to go around the world globally. So, starting up furthest.
I'm sorry, alphabetically, please.
Alphabetically, okay, that's a little bit more difficult. So, starting with A, I'm just kidding. Alchemist. A for Alchemist.
There's a lot. When I started at Onyx, there was somebody's part-time job was wholesale, and then Bear, who you know very well, who we may have someday on this show, became full-time wholesale rep, and then at one point we had 3 wholesale reps in addition to somebody who did primarily grocery stores and stuff like that. So the reach of everything is so much bigger than I ever, and sometimes even still think that it is, because my job is still mostly here in Arkansas, and then going other places, and it's oh yeah, all of these baristas know who Onyx is or know where to get Onyx coffee. So the footprint has been really cool, because also it's something familiar. I know if I go somewhere, I can often find, my Southern Weather House Blend or something like that. But so 3 years here at Onyx. You haven't always been at Onyx. Can you tell us a little bit about your coffee journey into professional coffee peddler?
Sure. Yeah, I started while in... That was a 30-second Aeropress plunge, so it's not as good as he's acting. I started...
I'm just so good at 30-second Aeropresses.
You're the best at them. 30-second World Aeropress Champion. No bypass, because that's against the rules. So I started while in college. No, actually in grad school. I did a part-time job at a small shop, traditional shop in Searcy, Arkansas, where we served very traditional coffee that was not specialty grade. And that's where I started. Did not enjoy the coffee. Drank maple lattes if I were to get my caffeine fix from something other than chai. About a year into working there, the manager under whom I worked was really into specialty coffee and brought on Onyx as a guest roaster. And so I had my first cup of specialty, which was the Natural Guji Hambala back in 20...
I see repping the first specialty cup then.
First one I
Some
had.
Be Humble t-shirt.
Tastes like blueberries. And I remember I told people when they asked why it tastes like blueberries, because we offered it as an option. I told them because the roaster put blueberries in the roaster.
That is outstanding.
I did say that.
I love that.
Because I've always hated not knowing stuff. And so when people asked me, I was on the spot and I made it up. And then my manager approached me and said, hey, people have been saying that blueberries have been added to this coffee. And they said that you said that. And I go, that's not true. I don't think I've admitted that to him this day, but Zach Kelly, if you're watching, I did say that.
This is the kind of gotcha journalism you can expect here at Hooked on Onyx.
You heard with purred. So
That's great. The first cup of Onyx coffee I had was Kenya Kamwangi.
Oh, wow.
Tasted like, this was back in early Onyx days.
Nice.
It tasted like orange and brown sugar and tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
And that was listed on the bag. And yeah, I asked
Campbell's.
like how'd they get the orange in there. They're like, no, it's just roasted coffee. And I was like, oh, so you put like orange rind in the roaster? They're like, nope. It was just black coffee.
You were smart enough to ask. I just confidence.
Well, I wasn't the barista who made it at the time.
Oh, nice.
They were the ones to correct me and be like, nope, there's nothing in here. Just
Why
coffee.
pale in comparison to that Onyx barista? Okay, whatever. Anyway, then I went to another place called Dr. Bean's Coffee Roastery in Memphis, and I roasted and packaged and did sort of some sales. And then I helped open a shop in Memphis called The Hub, and brought Onyx on as a house roaster there. And then from The Hub, I came to Onyx.
An exciting journey indeed.
Indeed.
You're more than just a coffee guy, right? I know Lance has quite a few other hobbies aside from this brown liquid.
Another brown liquid is
Another brown liquid, indeed. Really into
bourbon.
Bourbon, the distilled
and aged in charred
American oak barrels. But you've also got a family.
Oh, I guess
a
that
young
should be
family
brought up,
and a puppy.
I do have a puppy.
Yeah, how are they doing?
Doing well. My wife, Lindsay is 35-ish weeks pregnant with number dose. And our first kid is 4. So we have that going on. And then I have a year and 4-month-old husky named Slate. That is a sweetie. And yeah, he's really, really sweet. In fact, melted my heart. My kid was sick on Monday, and had to stay home with him. And he was laying in bed, just not feeling good, congested, coffee, whatever. And coffee. I meant to say coughing. Freud, thank you. And Slate, being a puppy, isn't really a cuddler, doesn't really like people laying on him, because I mean, he's a puppy. And Roman, he got in bed and Roman laid on him, and Slate laid there and let him. And then Slate didn't leave his side all day. When Roman went for a nap, he went and laid on the floor in his bedroom, and I was like, sweetest puppy.
That's adorable.
Yeah, it was super sweet, but yeah.
Congrats, by the way, on the expecting child.
Thank you.
That'll be exciting. And I hear you're gonna name your new child Hambala?
Actually, well, that middle name, it'll be Elika Hambala. Yeah.
Sounds like a great name.
It's fantastic.
Yep. Built for coffee.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another thing, you are quite an accomplished coffee maker, both espresso and filter. So not only good at selling coffee, but you're pretty good at the craft of it yourself, building up a collection of trophies and accolades, which I can only assume helps in the sales process. if
Doesn't
somebody
hurt.
as accomplished as Lance is trying to sell you a bean, you can pretty well assume it's going to be a pretty good bean.
Hopefully.
Yeah. But let's test out some of those chops. You also have your own kind of following, would you say? There's like a small cult club of enthusiasts.
I'm no Tim Curry in Rocky Horror, but I do have a small following. So, yeah, and they rock.
Well, we're happy to bring you on here, help you, gain some more notoriety through our platform.
That's what I need.
It's happy to have you.
Happy sips.
Yeah, but some of these chops, you go through coffee trends. You're the most plugged in person I know in coffee trends. I mean, I follow my fair share of people on Instagram, and still Lance will pop something up, and then all of a sudden it's all I see on Instagram is everybody talking about this one thing or how to do this one thing. But there's a pretty simple trend or debate among coffee brewers that I thought we could have a quick little test out today.
Yes.
Do you want to kind of talk about one of these trends and what we're going to do?
Absolutely. So one of the most influential people in coffee, as we all know, is King James Hoffman. And
Jimmy Hoff.
Jimmy Hoff, yeah. Jimmy Hoff, yeah. Wow. Jimmy Hoff. It's good. It's good. Now, Jimmy Hoff slurps like that too, so you know this is king stuff. He recently put out an Aeropress series and was testing some myths about the Aeropress, and one widely held and actually pushed back whenever he put this out was that there's no taste difference between wetting the paper filter and not because of how small the paper filter is, right? I know, it's like... And so a lot of people push back on that, and they're like, well, you can say that, but anyway. So I don't know how many people have tested it. We're going to do that today for fun. I won't say what my reaction was to the video yet. Okay, I'll tell you. I feel like that's accurate because there are times that if I don't wet a V60, I don't really taste the filter, and I'm thinking, well, something that small, I probably won't taste the difference. But I'm curious to do it side by side. I've not done that yet. And so we're going to do that today and give you our reactions. Granted, that doesn't mean much to you all because unless you have a similar diet to us, which this guy eats whey protein and creatine, and then I eat fried chicken and macaroni. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, today we'll do a...
There's creatine in coffee, right?
Oh, well, yeah. Creatine, you're adding it to coffee, the keto coffee, right? That's what you do.
It's the new bulletproof.
Yeah, so... Yeah, we'll do a recipe, my kind of go-to recipe, which I did feel validated whenever Hoffman put his out, because this is very similar. But my go-to recipe with the Aeropress is 12 to 200. We do a somewhat fine grind, especially for light filter. And so 12 to 200, we're going to pour all the water in at just off boiling. We're going to take our stir stick. We're going to go back, forth, side. All right? It does a better job of saturation than if we were to just stir. So we're gonna just put pop. Right after we dump all the water in, we're gonna put the plunger in. We're gonna let it sit for around 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. Then we're gonna give it a little swirl before we press. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do today, and we'll see how that goes.
All right, so one of us wets, one of us doesn't wet the filter.
Yes.
And then coffee, water, pop, plunge, press. Sounds great.
And like off Dan Harmon's Community, it's gonna be pop. If anyone catches that for magnitude.
And press. I haven't seen the show.
Oh, come on. Joe McHale, if you're watching, love you. All right, well, did we just do it?
Let's just do it.
All right, we've already ground the coffee because we're professionals.
So 12 grams of finely ground coffee, is that what you said?
Pretty finely,
ground?
yeah. Okay. Pretty finely. Whoops.
All right, my plunger is already a little bit wet because I just
he did a 30-second Aeropress.
So I will be the one to wet my filter because as soon as I put it in, it already is a little bit wet.
Mine is dry as a bone. Boom, look at that.
All right,
dry.
I'm gonna snag this kettle real quick.
Is it
myself another wet?
Oh yeah, you gotta wet that. Give it a healthy wet.
A healthy wet.
Healthy. Yeah, that's healthy.
Okay.
It's been eating its Brussels sprouts. Now that's a bypassed cup of coffee. Don't drink it. Stop it. Stop it. You're disqualified from the World Aeropress Championship.
Strangely better than the first cup. Yeah. It just really opens up those flavors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a World Aeropress Championship winning one.
Notes of third wave water.
Oh, shoot.
The terroir just really shines in this cup.
I love that. All right, so...
Okay. Coffee.
Boom.
12 grams. Do I need to shake it flat or does it matter before I pour my water in?
It doesn't matter because we're about to stir. But I mean, you
Okay.
can if you're like anal about it, but you don't need to. No big deal. No bigs. All right.
I guess I am because I did it.
Type A here. I did it too. All right. So I have to bring the water back to boiling so you get some more fun banter from us. I'm going to give it to Elika first to pour and to go crazy. And we'll do the so we're going to pour it all in. We're going to go, you know, side to side, front back like a cross, right? And then at about a minute 30, minute 45, give it a swirl, and then around 2 minutes we're going to press it in.
Okay. So start timer as soon as I start adding water.
Right when that water touches. Yep. Start that time. All right. Come on, boiling. I want to hear that click.
So to reiterate, we're going to do the same Aeropress recipe. My filter has been rinsed. Lance's filter has not.
Correct.
It is raw, unsullied.
Raw. Wet. Dry. Sullied. Unsullied. Sully. Mike Wazowski. Monsters Inc.
Full circle.
First circle of life. Simba. Kira.
Mike Wazowski.
I'm probably more like the Sully here, though. I'm so big. We need like the Jeopardy theme song. And
I'd have you freestyle over your own beat because I don't feel confident enough to freestyle to a beatboxing version of the Jeopardy theme song.
Well, you know, you're in the wake of Andy Mineo and propaganda, so I would probably not throw my hat in that ring. You can if you would like.
I mean, they say third time is the charm. I think it's usually third time for that person, not somebody who's not a hip hop artist.
This is true. And it just hit boiling, so I'm gonna let it sit for just a second. Come on down. Come on down. I'm just waiting for the rolling to be done.
So literally like
rolling.
just off boil.
Yes, I'd pull the top off and wait till the rolling stops.
I'm going to 200, right?
Correct.
Okay.
We don't want Adele rolling in the deep on that boil, so we're gonna let it chill for a sec.
You could have had it all, but
could have had it all. All right, let's get that.
Is it okay if I went to 200.2?
Oh, you are the world's okayest barista.
I'm a monster. All right, and then I just let it ride for a
You're
minute,
gonna
right?
let it ride.
Okay.
I gotta let this back up to boil. Get it to rolling once more.
Don't forget to pop, pop, and then pop, pop.
Magnitude.
Yep.
Pop, pop. I'm excited about this. Some carby mass.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about what coffee we are brewing. So we have a big season for Ethiopian coffees, which is kind of fitting that Lance was wearing his Be Humble shirt, because the Ethiopian coffees just keep rolling in. You've seen Ethiopia Werka washed, staple. We have it in a lot of places. But then we have just recently released this Ethiopia Werka carbonic maceration process. Brew guides for that popped up last week. This is a outstanding coffee from the Werka region. Has a but carbonic maceration process, so not a traditional processing method that we've seen. And actually, the upcoming Roaster subscription box is going to feature the natural process version. So you could theoretically, if you just go to the website, have yourself Werka 3 ways and experience all that Werka has to offer.
Go ahead and swirl and press.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Wait, how much swirling?
That's good.
Okay.
So he did about 3, so I'll replicate and do
Heavy
about 3.
press or slow press?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, do what you're doing right now and I'll just replicate.
Okay, so that was about 1:45 when I started pressing because
Yep.
I was busy talking about Ethiopia Werka.
Which is delicious.
But we're gonna end up here at about 2 minutes. Till the hiss or keep going?
It's whatever. We'll just stop at the hiss. That's fine.
Hoffman told me
You don't have to
at
stop.
the hiss.
No, Hoffman said you can go through the hiss.
He said to go through the hiss.
Through the hiss. But right now we don't want to change too much. I'm just going to kind of replicate what Elika was doing. We're just like, yeah, we're just vibing. So yeah, the main thing here is we're trying to replicate the cups so that we can taste the difference between paper dry, paper wet, and coffee black. So
All right. So now the onus is on Lance to replicate what I just did.
this is accurate.
So that the filter is the only changed variable here.
Only, except for the power behind the piston.
Power behind the piston.
All right, and then I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3,
Yeah,
and
that's about what I did.
push.
There you go.
All
Here's
right.
a little bit of.
I guess we need 2 more cups, don't we?
Really
do
just
a
drink
proper
this and
side by
drink the
side.
next one. Do they smell any different, Lance? And then we get to check on Lance's slurpability.
Bring it.
See how his olfactories stack up.
I detect no noticeable difference on the nostrils. Other than the fact that this is a bit hotter.
These both smell like an Aeropress of the Ethiopia Worka carbonic maceration.
Astute. Astute. A for astute.
What are our decibels on that sucker? Okay, that filter tastes wet.
Definitely soggy.
That is a good cup though.
That one's still really hot. I might have a little mouth blister. A little blisty, as Tom Haverford would say. I feel like we're in a Parks and Rec kind of cake.
But which one of us is the Jerry? There's always got to be a Jerry.
Oh, we already established you're more type A, so I guess. Who was that? You know what we should do with the last little bit? We should do a little into some little cups and have them blind it, and we can, because I don't taste any difference, but it could also be because I don't want to.
The no paper tastes brighter to me. But it could just be because it's just off of hot.
I would suspect it was brighter because it was cooler. Well, the fact of the matter is, I'm not tasting any paper.
Yeah. I don't get paper in either one of these.
Have you guys retro held? Retro You've seen my retro held, like it just matches.
I've seen it. I've seen the, people don't understand, Lance, how important the slurping is
They don't.
for the coffee drinking experience
They don't
to
understand.
truly be enjoyed.
Yeah.
And I'm not only talking about really excellent coffees, hand brewed by 2 of the greatest baristas in the United States, but I'm talking your vanilla lattes,
Yep.
your dirty
PSLs.
chais, your PSLs, with or without real pumpkin. All of these things should be retrohaled and slurped for complete enjoyment.
Absolutely. Even if it's really foamy, even if you have a dry cap, you slurp it. All right? Like for real. For real.
That's a really good cup. Pretty fast Aeropress method. It is a little bit longer than my normal one. But which is actually surprising to me considering we just went right off boiling. But fast, easy.
Yep.
I mean, I had never done his method before, and apart from me almost forgetting that it needed to be plunged, I feel like I replicated it pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, the cups
absolutely.
are almost identical.
Very good.
So here you have it. from the mouths of babes.
You heard it here second.
There's
First from Jimmy Hawk.
no perceptible difference.
Not to these two goons.
Yep. But yeah, thanks for coming on, Lance. We've been, wanting to have you on for a while. We got to brew some coffee, talk some coffee. Yeah, Lance plugged into all the various trends. We tried out a wet versus non-wetted paper filter in the Aeropress. Could it be different in a pour over? Could be.
Bigger
We don't
filter, more paper.
We haven't tried that yet.
Beep papers, peoples, papers, peoples.
Yeah,
Pearsons.
paper peoples,
Papers.
peepers. Exactly.
right.
Exactly that. This is the kind of communication you can expect to receive directly from Lance Hedrick should you choose to become a wholesale partner of ours.
Lots of alliteration with the P.
Lance, it's great to have you. Happy to have you as a part of the team.
Oh.
All you partners out there who have ever tasted Onyx coffee outside of an Onyx coffee lab, you likely have Lance Hedrick and his team to thank, and we thank you for joining us today, Lance.
Thank
Cheers.
you for beating me in the U.S. Brewers Cup Championship.
You're welcome. Thank you for letting me beat you.
I knew that was going to come up at some point.